Have you ever noticed how easy it is to find a reason not to do something? Excuses, they're comfortable, they're safe, but they'll rob you of your dreams. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "it's not the right time," you are taking one more step away from the life you could be living. The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. The only time you have is right now. And the only thing standing between you and success is your willingness to work hard. Today, we're going to tear down the walls of excuses and build a life of greatness. Let's get started. And the foundation of responsibility. Excuses are the bricks that build the walls of failure. If you're tired of hitting that wall, it's time to stop making excuses and start laying down the foundation for success. Success isn't built on words, it's built on action. Let me take you back to when I was 25 years old. At that time, I had plenty of excuses. Excuses for why I wasn't making more money, why I wasn't living the life I dreamed of, why things just weren't going my way. I blamed the economy, I blamed my boss, I blamed everything and everyone, except myself. I lived in an apartment with barely any furniture, working a job that didn't fulfill me. One day, I met a man who changed my life. His name was Earl Shoaff, a mentor who didn't just give me advice, he gave me a mirror. He said, "Brian, if you want things to change, you have to change. If you want things to get better, you have to get better." That moment was my wake-up call. I realized that making excuses was keeping me stuck. If I wanted more out of life, I had to stop pointing fingers at the world and start pointing them at myself. Responsibility is the first step to success. And it begins when you look in the mirror and say, "It's up to me." The first part of working harder is accepting responsibility. Excuses are the easy way out, but responsibility is the doorway to opportunity. From today, stop blaming circumstances and start owning them. The power of discipline. Excuses are loud, but discipline is silent. While excuses scream why you can't, discipline whispers how you will. There was a time in my life when I realized that no matter how much responsibility I took, I needed something more. That something was discipline. I remember watching a farmer in my town, getting up every day at 5 a.m., rain or shine, tending to his crops, no excuses. He wasn't just growing food, he was growing his future through hard work and discipline. It struck me then success is like farming. You can't plant today and expect to harvest tomorrow. You've got to tend to your dreams every single day. But discipline isn't about forcing yourself into misery, it's about building a routine that leads to freedom. The freedom to create the life you want, the freedom to achieve the success you've always desired. When you wake up each day and stick to your goals, no matter how small, you're setting the foundation for greatness. The farmer didn't see immediate results, but he trusted the process. And that's what discipline is all about, trusting the process. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and reality. Without it, excuses will always find a way in. With it, you'll achieve what you once thought impossible. The road to success isn't paved with excuses, but with daily, consistent effort. Time management, your greatest asset. Excuses steal your time, and once time is gone, it's gone forever. Work harder by mastering the one thing you can never get back: time. When I was just starting out, I used to say, "I don't have time for that," but the truth was, I wasn't using my time wisely. One day, Earl asked me, "Brian, how much time do you waste every day?" That question hit me like a ton of bricks. I hadn't thought about it. I was so caught up in distractions and excuses that I didn't realize I was letting precious hours slip away. There was a man I once knew who became incredibly successful simply by focusing on how he spent his time. He wasn't more talented than others, and he didn't have more opportunities, he just used his time more wisely. Every minute you spend making excuses is a minute you could be using to work on your goals. Master your time, and you will master your life. Break down your day into productive blocks and refuse to let excuses consume your most valuable asset: time. Successful people use every minute intentionally, working towards their goals, facing challenges head-on. Excuses are a way to avoid challenges, but the harder you work, the more you'll realize that challenges are the stepping stones to greatness. There's a story I heard about a young man who wanted to climb a mountain. At the base, he was full of confidence. But as the climb got tougher, the weather worsened, and the terrain became steeper, he started to doubt himself. His excuses started flooding in. "I can't do this. It's too hard, the weather's against me," but a voice inside said, "Keep going." He made it to the top, but only because he stopped listening to his excuses and embraced the challenge. That mountain is life. Every time you face a challenge, you have two choices: make excuses and retreat, or work harder and push through. And every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and better. Challenges are inevitable, But excuses are optional. The harder you work to face your challenges, the easier it becomes to overcome them. Excuses weaken you, challenges strengthen you. The mindset shift, turning obstacles into opportunities. The biggest difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't their talent or luck, it's how they handle obstacles. When I was younger, I viewed obstacles as roadblocks. If something didn't go my way, I'd think, that's it. I'm done. But one day, I met a man who taught me an important lesson. He said, "Brian, obstacles aren't in your way, they are the way." I didn't understand at first, but soon I realized that obstacles are there to shape us, to mold us into the person capable of achieving great things. Think about it. Every great achievement in history came after someone faced a monumental challenge. It's how you respond to those obstacles that define your success. Don't make excuses when things get hard. Instead, ask yourself, how can I turn this into an opportunity? Your mindset determines how you handle setbacks. Successful people don't see obstacles as reasons to quit, they see them as reasons to work harder. Change your mindset, and you'll change your life. The company you keep. Excuses are contagious, but so is hard work. Surround yourself with the right people, and watch your excuses disappear. I once had a friend who was always making excuses. He'd say, "I can't do this because of that," or "it's just not the right time." Over time, I found myself starting to think the same way. I realized that the people around you can either lift you up or drag you down. So I made a decision. I decided to surround myself with people who pushed me, who challenged me, who wouldn't accept excuses from me or from themselves. It made all the difference. I found that when you're around hardworking, motivated individuals, your excuses start to fade and your drive increases. You need to surround yourself with people who will hold you accountable, who will inspire you to work harder, not to settle for less. The people you spend time with shape your mindset. If you want to stop making excuses and work harder, find those who are already doing it. Let their discipline and determination fuel your own. The reward of hard work. Excuses may give you temporary comfort, but hard work gives you permanent success. I remember the first time I saw the fruits of my hard work. After years of dedication, discipline, and persistence, I finally achieved what I set out to do. It wasn't luck, and it wasn't by accident. It was because I had worked hard every single day, even when I didn't feel like it. When I stood there looking at what I had built, I realized something powerful: hard work never fails. You might not see results right away, but that's not the point. The point is to keep going, to keep pushing, to refuse to give up. The reward for hard work isn't just the success you achieve, it's the person you become along the way. You become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. That's the real reward, becoming the best version of yourself. There is no substitute for hard work. Excuses may make life easier in the moment, but they make success harder in the long run. When you work hard, the rewards will come both externally and internally. Excuses are easy, but success is hard. If you want to live a life of greatness, you have to be willing to put in the work. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't look for shortcuts. Embrace the challenge, work harder, and watch your life transform. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the story you're telling yourself. Change the story, and you'll change your life. Next, kill your laziness. Imagine waking up every day with a fire in your belly, ready to tackle your goals with enthusiasm. Now picture this: it's another morning, and instead of jumping out of bed, you hit the snooze button. You scroll through social media, binge watch shows, and let the hours slip away. Does that sound familiar? If you want to break free from this cycle of laziness and transform your life, stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the strategies that can ignite your motivation and set you on the path to success. The roots of laziness. Let's start with a story. A young man named Mark had big dreams. He wanted to be a successful entrepreneur, bursting with innovative ideas. But every time he sat down to work, a familiar weight settled in his chest. The thought of failure loomed large, paralyzing him. Instead of confronting his dreams, he escaped into distractions: Netflix, social media, video games. The more he procrastinated, the heavier the burden of his unrealized potential felt. Mark's breakthrough came when he met a mentor who noticed his struggles. "You're not lazy, Mark," he said. "You're afraid." Fear is the thief of motivation. This struck a chord with Mark. He realized that laziness was more than just a habit, it was a cover for deeper fears: fear of failure, fear of judgment, and even fear of success. Identify root causes, reflect on what lies beneath your laziness. Is it fear, perfectionism, or perhaps a lack of clarity about your goals? A journaling exercise. Start a journal where you explore your fears. Write about your dreams and what holds you back from pursuing them. Visualization: imagine what your life would look like without these fears. Picture the success and fulfillment you could achieve. As Mark confronted his fears, he began to see laziness not as a flaw, but as a challenge to overcome. This mindset shift set the stage for his transformation. The power of decision. One of the most powerful lessons I've learned is that success starts with a single decision. After that eye-opening conversation with his mentor, Mark made a conscious decision he would take just 5 minutes each day to work on his business idea. At first, 5 minutes felt insignificant. He struggled to focus, constantly battling his old habits. But with each passing day, he gradually expanded his commitment. Those 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20. Each small victory built his confidence. He discovered that the decision to act, even in small ways, was the catalyst for bigger changes. Make a commitment. Decide today to dedicate a specific amount of time to your goals, no matter how small. Set micro goals. Break your larger goals into bite-sized tasks that can be accomplished in short bursts. Daily check-ins at the end of each day. Reflect on your progress. Celebrate your small victories to reinforce positive behavior. As Mark continued this practice, he found that the decision to act created momentum. The more he acted, the more motivated he became, creating a success routine. Routines are powerful. They provide structure and discipline. Mark realized that to combat his laziness, he needed a solid routine. Together, we crafted a morning ritual focused on his most important tasks. Every morning, Mark dedicated the first hour to his biggest goals. He turned off his phone, silenced notifications, and concentrated solely on his work. Initially, it was challenging. The allure of distractions was strong. But with each passing day, his routine became a sacred time, his time to build his future. Identify your peak hours. Find the time of day when you are most productive and protect that time fiercely. Design a morning routine. Create a morning routine that sets a positive tone for your day. Include activities that energize and inspire you. Stay flexible. While routines are important, allow yourself flexibility. If something isn't working, adjust it. As Mark embraced his routine, he transformed not only his productivity but also his mindset. The discipline he built became a cornerstone of his success. Overcoming distractions. In our hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. Mark identified social media as a significant time sink. Every time he opened his phone, he lost hours to mindless scrolling. So he took action. He set clear boundaries, specific times to check his phone, and limited notifications. He also transformed his workspace, removing any items that diverted his attention. This intentional approach created an environment conducive to productivity. Mark discovered that by controlling his environment, he could regain his focus. Identify your distractions. List the things that pull you away from your work. Be honest with yourself. Create a productive space. Designate a workspace that is free from distractions. Keep it organized and inspiring. Implement focus techniques. Use techniques like the Pomodoro technique. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. As Mark eliminated distractions, he became more productive and regained a sense of control over his time. The role of accountability. Accountability is a game changer. Mark sought out a group of like-minded entrepreneurs who met weekly. They shared their goals, progress, and challenges. This community became a support system that pushed him to stay on track. When Mark felt like giving up, the encouragement from his peers reignited his determination. He learned to share his goals openly, knowing he would have people checking in on him. This commitment to his group held him accountable in a way he had never experienced before. Find an accountability partner. Connect with someone who shares your goals or interests. Check in regularly. Join a group. Participate in forums or groups where members support each other in achieving their goals. Set milestones. Create milestones and share them with your accountability partner or group. Celebrate progress together. With this newfound accountability, Mark was able to sustain his motivation and push through challenging times. Embracing failure. Let's discuss failure. Mark faced setbacks. One of his ideas flopped miserably. He felt crushed, but instead of retreating into laziness, he chose to view failure as a teacher. He analyzed what went wrong, extracting lessons that would inform his next steps. This reframing of failure allowed him to grow rather than shrink away. Mark learned that every successful person has faced setbacks. What differentiates them is their response to those failures. Reframe your mindset. View failure as a necessary part of the journey, not the end of it. Learn from every experience. Keep a failure journal where you document what went wrong and what you learned. Develop resilience. Cultivate resilience. by practicing self-compassion. Understand that setbacks are part of growth. As Mark embraced failure, he became more resilient and determined. His ability to learn from mistakes propelled him forward. The vision of success. Finally, let's talk about vision. Mark discovered that having a clear vision of his success fueled his motivation. He began picturing what his life would look like if he achieved his dreams. This vision became his North Star. Whenever he felt lazy or unmotivated, he returned to that mental image, reminding himself of what he was working toward. This practice kept his passion alive. Create a vision board, gather images and words that represent your goals and aspirations. Display it where you see it daily. Visualize your success. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself achieving your goals. Engage all your senses in this practice. Write a letter from your future self. Write a letter from the perspective of your future self, detailing how you achieved your dreams and the joy it brings. Mark's vivid vision of success motivated him through every challenge. This practice became a source of energy that propelled him forward. As we wrap up, remember that killing your laziness is about more than just working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about understanding your motivations, creating effective routines, and holding yourself accountable. Just like Mark, you have the power to transform your life. It starts with a decision to act. So I challenge you today, take one small step toward your goals. Together, let's break the chains of laziness and unleash the success that awaits you. Next, think like a winner. Success is not reserved for the lucky few. It is not about being born with the right connections or having some rare talent that others lack. Success is a choice, and that choice begins in the mind. Today, I'm going to show you how to think like a winner. Whether you're striving for success in your career, your health, your relationships, or your personal growth, the mindset you adopt will determine your outcome. Here's a simple truth: the difference between winners and everyone else is not talent, it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not luck. It's the way they think. Winners think differently, and because they think differently, they act differently. And today, you'll learn how to think like a winner so you can begin to live like one. Belief is the foundation of success. I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about the last time you faced a serious challenge. Maybe you were going after a promotion at work. Perhaps you were competing in a sport. Or maybe you were trying to lose weight. What was the first thought that came to your mind? Did you believe you could do it? Or did doubt creep in, telling you that you might fail? I once knew of a high school basketball team that was made up of underdogs. They didn't have the height, they didn't have the star players. And everyone counted them out from the beginning. But their coach had a different belief. He taught them that the game was won in their minds before it was ever played on the court. Day after day, they practiced harder than anyone else. They visualized victory, they saw themselves as champions. And slowly they started to believe it. By the end of the season, against all odds, they won the state championship. They didn't win because they were the best players, they won because they believed they could. And that's what I want you to understand. Belief is the foundation of success. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. Winners are not afraid to believe in their potential, even when the odds are stacked against them. Winners see failure as feedback, not defeat. Here's another key to thinking like a winner. Winners don't fear failure. In fact, they embrace it. Because they understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of the process. When I was young, I started my first business. I was excited, enthusiastic, and ready to take on the world. But I made every mistake you could possibly imagine. I underestimated costs, I overestimated revenue, and in less than a year, the business failed. I lost money, I lost clients. And worst of all, I felt like I had lost myself. But after some reflection, I realized that failure didn't have to be the end. It was a beginning, a teacher. Every mistake I made taught me something valuable. And because I took the lessons from those failures, my next business was a success. You see, winners don't let failure define them. They see failure for what it truly is: feedback. It's the universe's way of saying, not yet or not this way, but they never let failure stop them from moving forward. Winners keep adjusting, keep learning, and keep going. The law of attraction: winners focus on what they want. Let me tell you about one of the most powerful forces that winners use to their advantage, the law of attraction. Now, I'm not talking about some mystical or magical process. I'm talking about a mindset where you focus intently on what you want, not on what you fear. Winners visualize their goals clearly. They don't dwell on the obstacles, they zero in on the outcome. A good friend of mine was going through a difficult time in his life. His business was failing, his personal life was in shambles, and he didn't know where to turn. Every day he woke up thinking about everything that was going wrong. And guess what? Things continued to get worse. But one day, he decided to change. He wrote down exactly what he wanted in life, from his career to his relationships. He began to focus on those goals every single day. Within a year, his business was booming and his personal life had completely transformed. What changed? His thinking. Winners focus on what they want, not on what they fear. They align their thoughts with their desires, and in doing so, they attract success into their lives. What you focus on expands. So if you focus on your dreams will grow. Consistency is the secret to winning. Winners understand one thing very well: success isn't about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing the right things consistently over time. Think about that for a moment. It's not the person who works out for 5 hours one day and then takes a month off who gets fit. It's the person who works out for 30 minutes every single day. Consistency compounds. I knew a marathon runner who told me that when she started training, she couldn't run more than a mile without stopping. But every day she showed up. She ran just a little bit farther than she did the day before. Sometimes it was only a few steps more, but she was consistent. And in 6 months, she ran her first marathon. When I asked her how she did it, she said it wasn't the big runs that made the difference, it was the daily discipline. And that's the secret. Winners show up day after day, even when they don't feel like it. They understand that every small action done repeatedly leads to big results. Winners surround themselves with winners. Another critical lesson that winners know. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about your closest friends, colleagues, and family members. Do they lift you up, or do they hold you back? Winners understand that their environment shapes their thinking. So they surround themselves with people who push them to be better. When I was young and just starting out, I was fortunate enough to have a mentor who was miles ahead of me in business. At first, I was intimidated by his success, but he took me under his wing. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He challenged me to think bigger, to act faster, and to never settle for mediocrity. That relationship changed my life forever. And that's why winners seek out mentors, coaches, and peers who are already where they want to be. They know that by surrounding themselves with successful people, they will naturally start to adopt the habits and mindset of success. Winners focus on solutions, not problems. When a winner faces a problem, they don't get stuck in negativity. They don't waste time complaining or blaming others. Instead, they immediately start looking for solutions. Winners are solution-focused, not problem-focused. I remember a tech company during the early 2000s that was hit hard by the dot-com crash. Most companies in their industry were folding under the pressure, laying off employees, and downsizing. But this company took a different approach. Instead of focusing on the crisis, they asked, what can we do to innovate? How can we better serve our customers? They shifted their entire focus toward finding solutions, and today, that company is one of the largest in the world. Winners understand that every problem comes with a potential solution. It's their job to find it. When you train your mind to focus on solutions, problems stop being roadblocks and start becoming opportunities. The power of gratitude. Finally, winners understand the power of gratitude. They don't wait until they achieve their goals to feel happy. They find joy and fulfillment in the journey. Gratitude is a powerful tool that keeps them focused, centered, and motivated. I once worked with a client who was constantly stressed, always focused on what wasn't going right. I suggested he try something simple: write down 3 things he was grateful for every day. At first he resisted, but eventually he gave it a try. Over time, this small habit changed his entire outlook. He became more optimistic, more focused, and his business took off like never before. Winners practice gratitude because it shifts their perspective. It reminds them of what's going right, even when things get tough. Gratitude is the fuel that keeps them going. So how do you think like a winner? You believe in yourself, you embrace failure as feedback, you focus on what you want, you stay consistent, you surround yourself with the right people, you focus on solutions, and you practice gratitude every single day. When you think like a winner, you will act like a winner. And when you act like a winner, success is inevitable. Remember, winners are not those who never fail, they are those who never quit. So go out there and start thinking like a winner.